I think what's amazing about Elon as an entrepreneur is he always starts with a mission and then he figures out how to turn it into a great product and a great business. So he's still operating at the top of his game. I mean, 20 years after PayPal, some of us are just doing a podcast. He's been leveling up for 20 years. And at this point, he's like a level 99 mage or something.
In this video, David Giant Nut Sachs shares some incredibly sharp insights into Elon Musk and why he's able to consistently do the impossible across multiple domains, making a mockery of literally every other human on the planet. And I guess while we're on the topic of mockery of humans, Jimmy Wear Mask Bitch Kimmel, who tweeted this morning, "It has been interesting over the years to watch you blossom from the electric car guy into a fully formed piece of shit. Elon Musk." That is a topic of today's exclusive Patreon video. Card in corner, link in description, and definitely way too spicy for YouTube. I will, however, give just a single hint. This fake comedian, who is actually a mouthpiece for the US Democratic Party, has outed himself as a spineless, approval-seeking weasel. It's almost as if the guy has some skeletons in his closet and is preemptively attempting to gain permanent approval of the cancel mob to avoid awkward reminders of his past sins. After all, who is the fully formed piece of shit, Jimmy?
On a trampoline. Catch a full hour of The Man Show.
I guess dreams do come true.
Tonight at 10, only on Comedy Central.
Oh, sorry, that was the wrong clip. Nothing to see there. I'm sure Jimmy has no regrets over the scantily clad women jumping on trampolines promoting The Man Show. Yep, let's play the actual clip I intended on showing.
What do real people wear under there?
I have plaid on. There's my underwear.
That's real nice. Oh, look at that. Let's get you out of those pants, honey. What do you say? Is he your underwear?
Underwear.
Underwear? May I see it?
Okay, what exactly do you have to see?
Whatever you got to show us, we'll have a look at it. There'll be no zooming in.
Really quick?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Are you crazy?
It'll go by so fast, nobody will even
Let me make
notice.
sure I have a good bra on. Really quick.
It'll go by so instantaneously, nobody will even notice.
1, 2.
All right. Yes. God bless this guy.
Ah, that was the wrong clip as well. Sorry, guys. Unprofessional. I'm going to have to fire my editor today. Can we play the right clip now, dickhead? I mean, obviously, that was totally fine as well. Isn't creepy. Hasn't aged poorly. And it's definitely not something Jimmy was willing to do because that was what he needed to do to get attention, and he'll just do whatever he needs to do to maintain his attention. A couple of decades ago, it's asking people to see their fucking underwear on the street. Mostly women. The Man Show with women jumping half naked on a trampoline. I mean, you know, it's not like Jimmy just continues to do whatever he's told to. Some weird tweet has just appeared on screen. Let me just read this anyway. Some guy with 3 first names quoting Jimmy virtue signaling Kimmel, who's just called Elon Musk a fully formed piece of shit. This guy writes, quote, "Please approve of me. I am desperate to remain relevant and seek your renewed approval and validation. What is the current thing I must support or denounce? Oh, it's Elon Musk? Spaceman bad? Okay, got it. Let me just tweet something that ensures you will know I'm still a good person." Alright, can we just play the goddamn clip already?
Sometime at night, Carl Malone look up in sky and say, "What the hell going on up there? Do UFO live on other planet, phoning home like E.T.? Carl Malone read on TV about white people getting deducted by aliens, sticking all kind of hell up their butt. And that's a damn thing. Now, Carl Malone never seen no flying saucer himself, but if he do, that's going to be a spooky time. That's why Carl Malone say government got to step up and give 102% to keeping them little green man off this here earth. Because the day them dudes stick something up Carl Malone butt, that ain't going to be no good time for nobody, especially Carl Malone butt. Listen up, E.T. You better stay the hell back. Nanu, nanu. Until next time, this here Carl Malone.
That's right. That is the guy who today on Twitter publicly called Elon Musk a fully formed piece of shit. Talk about the pot calling the kettle black. As I said, all discussed in today's exclusive Patreon video. Card in corner, link in pinned comment. You know what to do. It is pretty spicy, so don't say I didn't warn you. And now for some extreme contrast from a person who I personally believe actually is a steaming pile of human excrement with no spine, no conviction, no values, just do whatever they say, do whatever I'm told to do, whatever keeps me in a position of influence on my dumb show, just do whatever I have to. Hence why in the 2000s, asking people out their underwear on the street, hey, yeah, do that, Jimmy. Oh, yeah, whatever you want, oh, yeah, people are going to watch, okay, yeah. Next minute, hey, Jimmy, you need to denounce Elon Musk because he's bad, because billionaires are bad, and we said he's bad, and if you don't say he's bad, then we don't know if you think he's bad, and therefore, you're not agreeing with the one true narrative, and you might lose your role as whatever host he is of whatever show he does. To somebody who I personally believe isn't a pile of human excrement. And in fact, not only that, but A is intelligent, unlike Jimmy. B has courage, unlike Jimmy. C has conviction, unlike Jimmy. D has values that aren't malleable, unlike Jimmy. E actually knows who Elon Musk is and has literally worked with him in the past. And F is about to spit a mountain of facts in a matter of seconds.
Which is a bigger idea? The payments or the verification? Which is the bigger idea for increasing shareholder value? Which would you do first?
I mean, payments is an entire roadmap, right? So there's a lot that could be done there.
Explain
Well,
that.
I mean, it's about, I mean, you could layer on a lot of services on top of that. So it's not just like one feature.
All right, we're going to talk about this. Now, it's time for some reasonably well-founded speculation. For those that don't know, David Giant Nut Sachs and Elon Musk, back in the day, PayPal, X.com, the merger, they worked together. In addition, Elon has said on the record many times he had a vision for X.com, which was far more than payments, and Sachs knows that vision. Note, when asked about what this means, David Sachs talked about all these different things that could be layered on, but failed to explicitly mention any why, because he probably knows some of the plans in the future and doesn't want to spill the beans. So allow me to spill the beans, at least the hypothetical beans, because this is all just pure speculation, on behalf of David Sachs. Payments, banking, as in savings and transaction accounts. Wait for it, you ready? Finance, yeah, that's right, as in personal loans, business loans, and wait for it, the big one, mortgages, lines of credit, term deposit accounts, you name it, it's going to happen. You can count on it. Payments is literally just the very tip of the iceberg. So spoiler alert, if you can't read between the lines, I will spell it out and this will play out and you'll say once again, Stephen, dude, are you from the future? How did you know? Once again, it's obvious, okay? Everything to do with finance, as in money, all of it is going to happen under X.com. It's not just going to be transactions. It's not just going to be savings account. It's not just going to be mortgages. It's going to be everything you can imagine in the payments and, more importantly, the banking sector. Look out Square. Look out PayPal. Look out everyone. Look out traditional bricks and mortar banks. Look out everyone in the banking and finance space. Let's just leave it at that. But I do want to emphasize, Sachs intentionally avoided mentioning any of the potential things, the features that could be added on top of payments. If you're really curious, rewind and watch how he responded to that question. It gives me a very strong impression, again, pure speculation, that he knows what's to come. He just can't say it because he doesn't want to spill the beans early. It's always worth reading between the lines. Although it is true, occasionally you'll see things that aren't there.
Look, I think they're both compelling in terms of where they could lead. I think what's amazing about Elon as an entrepreneur is he always starts with a mission and then he figures out how to turn it into a great product and a great business. So
spot fucking on. I literally had this exact same conversation with somebody yesterday. The way I explained it was slightly different. Elon always starts with an extremely important, necessary mission, then figures out how to make a money printer out of the business so the probability of success of the mission is maximized. A little wordy, I know, but this is a massively overlooked aspect of what Elon has done in the past. He starts with the mission, then he figures out this mission's so important. How can we make an underlying business with such compelling products and services, such strong competitive advantages, that the business prints so much money that it becomes near impossible to fail at the longer term mission? No one else has this ability, at least not in the same league as Elon Musk. I mean, for example, how the do you think you're going to make reusable rockets profitable? I mean, are you high? You'd have to be tripping on LSD to figure out, oh wait, maybe that's how he, yeah, no comment. Definitely don't go watch the very first video I published on this channel. The guy literally does what seems to be impossible, starting mission first, then figuring out how to print money, next minute create some of the most valuable companies and incredible products and services the world has ever seen.
for example, with SpaceX, the mission was to get to Mars to make life multiplanetary. You would think that'd be a spectacularly unprofitable business, but in the course of pursuing that mission, he figured out the launch business and then the satellite business was Starlink. And I think Starlink's going to be a phenomenal business.
Phenomenal.
And
massive understatement. Now, for those that don't know, I actually have a Starlink valuation model, bear case, base case, and bull case tucked away, only available exclusively to Patreon supporters at the baller level and above. If you've got access to the downloadable Tesla valuation model, my Starlink models, bear case, base case, and bull case are thrown in as a big bonus. And boy, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, people are just not understanding the potential for Starlink. This business is an absolute fucking money printer. Starlink, over the long term, will be a multi-trillion-dollar business. Just Starlink alone. That's not including SpaceX at all. Just the satellite internet service alone.
And likewise with Tesla, he started with the mission of moving the world to sustainable energy.
Yeah.
And in the process of doing that, he created the world's best car, not just the world's best electric car, but I just think it's the best car in the world. And Tesla is this amazing business today. It's so far ahead of every other car company. So look, I think what's cool about what Elon is doing is he's starting with this mission of restoring Twitter to being a free speech platform, of being the town square It was always meant to be. And in the process of doing that, he's going to figure out how to make Twitter into an even better product and into a great business, which is not today. I think Twitter's losing, a few $100 million a quarter. So
great points from David Sachs once again. The mission here is to maintain and uphold the principles of free speech. That is an act of philanthropy, just like transitioning the world to sustainable energy or helping life become multiplanetary. But Elon is no moron. In order to ensure the mission of philanthropy is able to have the best chance of success, he needs to create an underlying money printer so the business is not only self-sustaining, but extremely self-sustaining. That gives him a lot of flexibility. And how do you do that? By adding enormous amounts of value and realizing untapped potential. And boy, oh boy, Twitter is literally the example of untapped potential. Even a fucking potato could have done a better job running, monetizing, and adding value on this site than the clowns who've previously run this company into the ground. I mean, there's so much low-hanging fruit, so many obvious things to implement that would take almost no time and effort and be hugely positive for users in terms of their experience and also for further monetization. I'm sure you guys see the scammer accounts all the time on Twitter impersonating me. Do you know how dumb Twitter are? Like how fucking dumb they are? Let me explain how dumb they are. On this YouTube channel, I can input my Twitter handle on YouTube, so the YouTube page has a link to my Twitter account on the YouTube page. That the dimwits at Twitter, whose website is currently flooded with crypto scammers impersonating people, particularly people being impersonated from YouTube. Why hasn't a single one of these 12 IQ dimwits thought, hang on a minute, if the people on YouTube who have the accounts that are being impersonated have a link on YouTube to their actual legitimate Twitter account, could we not then allow these people to automatically verify themselves as legitimate? Simply by the very fact that the YouTube channel that they control is linking back to the Twitter account that's asking to be verified. You see, the only way this doesn't work is if somebody's hacked the YouTube account, which is a 0.001% of cases. These idiots still haven't figured out something so obvious. Crypto scammers are a huge problem on Twitter. It's such an easy fix, and this doesn't fix everything, but there's so many YouTubers on there. You guys see them all the time. They're impersonating all of us. It's so easy. Verify the account on Twitter that is linked to from the YouTube profile so people know that's the actual account that belongs to that actual YouTuber. They haven't even done something this simple. Then, of course, there's a huge audiences. I mean, holy shit, dude. I'm going to give you guys an insanely crazy example here, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, I were able to offer exclusive content to my Twitter subscribers, exclusive videos, exclusive whatever the fuck, I don't care. Just imagine that I could do that, which I can't currently do. Literally, some people may have Twitter Blue and super followers. I can't even do that because it's not enabled where I am. Let's say, hypothetically, 1% of my Twitter followers, of course, many of them are bots, but 1% of my alleged Twitter followers joined up at, say, $10 a month for some exclusive content. That would be well over $100,000 a year of revenue. Twitter could take their cut. They'd start printing money. Feature doesn't even exist. Hasn't been widely rolled out. What are they doing? Oh, that's right. They're too busy fact-checking and deleting and suppressing and interfering in democracy. So the point here, Twitter is an extremely valuable resource with so much untapped potential. Much of it is just spitting distance. I mean, some of the stuff is going to take a little bit more time. Getting videos that have good monetization like YouTube, that'll take some time to implement. But cloning Patreon, take no time at all. Some simple things to verify accounts and reduce the number of crypto scammers. So obvious, yet they've done nothing. I cannot wait to see how much value Elon can extract from this company by creating better products, better services, and making the most of this current dumpster fire. So in the coming months and quarters, as we watch Twitter rapidly evolve, add even more value, more services, expand, and tap into so much of that untapped potential, I implore everyone watching to be mindful of how much progress is made in how little time versus how little progress was made in so much time under previous ownership. The rate of progress for this asset under Elon Musk, the amount of value it offers, the services, its utility and usefulness to the humans of planet Earth, the amount and pace of new value add will be a direct indictment of the absolute incompetence of the clowns who were previously running the show. We're basically going to watch Elon Musk in real time say, get the fuck out of my way, you useless motherfuckers. Let me show you how it's done.
There's work to do on all those fronts, but I think, it's really impressive to see. And, he's still operating at the top of his game. I mean, 20 years after PayPal, some of us are just doing a podcast, but he is, he's still operating at the top of his...
Some of us are exhausted.
I know. We're tired, but...
We're tired, and he's like working 16-hour days.
He's been leveling up for 20 years, and at this point, he's like a level 99 mage or something.
This is fucking brilliant. Now, I'm sure, I don't know exactly what a mage it's from, like some computer game probably, or just a generic one, I don't know. Not that much of a nerd. I'm sure some of my high school friends who are still virgins living in their mum's basement would probably know. But the point, he's spot fucking on. Things like this compound over time. Elon really has been leveling up for 2 decades straight while everyone else is taking a break, relaxing, doing a podcast and so on. I don't know how the guy doesn't break. I genuinely do not know, but he doesn't, and hopefully he won't. There's a very valuable life lesson in here. Things really do compound over time. Your skills, your abilities, your knowledge, your expertise, health habits, finance habits, everything compounds over time. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed, even if not in yourself, then those close to you, maybe like your long-term girlfriend who's continually compounding over time. Tiny incremental differences, different actions, things you do slightly differently today, if they're moving you in a slightly positive direction, will compound and produce enormous positive results over a span of multiple decades. The same is also true in reverse. That ice cream sundae and french fries today, hey, no big deal. But if you do it every single week for decades, it does become a very big deal and you become a very big fat motherfucker. If you continually read books, increase your knowledge and your skills, try things, gain experience, you do that over 10, 20 years, you're going to leave most people in your dust. It's not because you made a huge quantum leap out of nowhere, just because this stuff is compounded and compounded and compounded and compounded. Case in point, I began writing things, communicating online when I was a teenager in high school, until I discovered alcohol in women and then kind of stopped. I used to write FAQs and walkthroughs and reviews for video games. That actually allowed me to develop my communication abilities and accelerate things a little bit. I'm not the best at communication, but I'm decent enough. Hence, a bunch of people watching me communicate on the internet today, 20 years later. 20? More than 20 years later. Had I not written the reviews, and I've got a lot of history on this stuff, I also had a music website and other shit. Had I not been doing this stuff, my communication skills would be nowhere near where they are today, and I still have a long way to go. But the point is, this stuff has been compounding over time. So when I start this YouTube channel, it's not like I'm starting from a standing stop. And now some more relatable examples in terms of compounding over time. We're talking money. I know most of you are interested in wealth creation, investing, and so on. This is my net worth over time. Note the trend, the numbers are irrelevant, it's the trend that matters. This is what compounding over time looks like. The first 10 years on this chart from 2008 to 2018 barely register. Almost doesn't look like it was worth the effort. May as well just give up. Next minute, to the moon. And that wasn't just on the back of Tesla stock. You'll notice a dip, by the way, 2018 and 19. Why'd that happen? Well, I actually retired, so I earned no income, which meant I had to cover expenses from my existing net worth. This was a massive negative drag, and Tesla was going nowhere. And again, this isn't to brag, it's just to illustrate the point. It's the trend that matters. Whether this is your skills, your ability to execute, your business acumen, communications ability, your net worth, it doesn't matter. Your health habits, the same kind of things. You as a person can improve just like this. There's a great book I recommend if you want to learn a little bit more about this. It was actually recommended to me by a mentor, funnily enough, maybe a decade ago. It's called The Slight Edge, I think by Jeff Osborne or some shit like that. Anyway, you'll find it. Great book, great concept, and this is what it looks like manifested in one narrow domain. One final example as well. This is my monthly income over time. Now you might ask yourself, Stephen, have you really been tracking your net worth and your income for a decade and a half? The answer would be yes. What's the saying? What gets measured gets managed. So back to the income again, the numbers don't matter, it's the trend that really matters. Let's zoom in just a little bit here for a little bit of context. As we can see, for the first few years of my career, the income was increasing gradually, and by most standards, people would be relatively happy with that. But at the same time, my income was increasing incrementally. My skills were increasing enormously. I was learning about real estate investing, managing money, lots of side hustles as well. I had an online store, I'm selling products, merchandise, everything, you name it. Running a website, had 12 employees at its peak. I could go on and on and on, building skills and abilities, even though the income wasn't yet showing it. Then out of nowhere, huge burst in income, doubling, tripling, quadrupling, quintupling my monthly income, almost out of nowhere. What happened? All of that compounding in my skills allowed me to move sideways, go from the design world, working as a graphic web designer and developer, to running a finance company. Then getting burnt out and going, fuck this, time to take a break, which is exactly what I did. The big gap here, I was retired, on sabbatical, whatever you want to call it, trying to figure out, I've got enough money, I don't need to worry about that. What should I do now? Took a little while, next minute to my ayahuasca ceremonies, and I start on YouTube. And we have the exact same pattern happen again. Looked like nothing was going on here for a little while. And then bam, out of nowhere, income heading toward the moon. And again, I'm not pointing this out to brag. The numbers aren't on here. I don't give a fuck. The point is, this is what compounding over time looks like. Imagine, instead of my monthly income or my net worth, we're looking at my skills, my ability to add value in the marketplace. And now think back to Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk may in fact be the single greatest compounder of skills, ability, real world experience, which allows him to execute against grand visions and important missions. He may be the greatest single compounder of personal abilities in the history of mankind. By the way, guys, I actually noticed I was cut off a little bit there, so I just wanted to make sure that all the Poindexters get to see the full income up to present. Last month in there as well, I cut that off accidentally, it was cropped out of the screen. Anyway, I'm sure you guys get the point. Things compound over time. Useful, positive, negative, doesn't matter. Stuff compounds, whether it's poor health habits or good health habits, whether it's your investments, your skills, your ability to add value to the marketplace, your emotional intelligence, your communication skills, your tolerance for risk, your comfort in being uncomfortable, It's really about delayed gratification and delayed results. You can spend years and years and years compounding a skill or an ability, a good habit, and barely notice any results. But you must stay the course and know, over the ultra long term, it's inevitable. The compounding has been taking place and the results will come. And to bring things full circle, speaking of compounding over time, Jimmy Kimmel's past poor decisions have certainly compounded over time, so much though that the man's willing to do whatever it takes, including calling Elon Musk a fully formed piece of shit on Twitter to his audience of millions, simply to try and undo the compounding result of all of his poor choices. It seems that little Jimmy here feels he has no choice other than to try to reverse all of this compounding of past poor decisions by signaling virtue as loudly and proudly as he possibly can. Unfortunately for Jimmy, there isn't enough time left before this universe suffers a cold death for Jimmy to fully atone for his past sins, no matter what he may think. And if you want to know what I think about that guy, well, as I said, that's the subject of the latest exclusive video I posted on Patreon. We're now at 191 exclusive videos and counting. And yes, my Patreon takeover continues. And by the way, guys, I do implore you, if you're thinking about joining, you better do it sooner rather than later, and you'll understand why pretty soon. Don't say I didn't warn you. Love ya.